particular website that contains that information was posted by an honorable minister. What is going on? How possible is it that that information will be posted, or the site will be posted by an honorable minister, and the Nigerian government will be oblivious of it? Is it possible?
It's possible. Because
it's possible. Yes. That's criminal.
Yes, it's possible.
That's like government aiding crime.
Not necessarily.
Is that not extortion of its people?
It could be the minister acting alone.
Okay, is the minister not government?
He's a representative of government.
So by extension, not government.
It's all passing off. So he could pass off his government role, his government identity, to validate or legitimize something that he himself was working on alone. This is pure speculation. So we really don't know what has happened. I'm just saying it's possible for this to have just been the actions of one unscrupulous person, not necessarily the entire government. But in all likelihood, I will think that maybe the government is in on it, but we don't know. We've got to be careful with that. It's speculation. So we'll wait. They have to either deny this or investigate it.
And then if you go by the information that is in the genuine website of the thanks to David Hundein, by the way, he was the one that brought to attention the fact that that website does not have .gov.ng, which is the normal thing we should have experienced. But we just had .ae. So it got. I like people who think that fast. Some of us can't. So and then he went digging, and then we saw this. But what does this mean to Nigerians, especially when you went to when you go through the proper website and you get to see very simplified visa conditions?
I guess for Nigerians, they'll be happy to hear that was not true, but it does not speak well of us as a country,
especially considering that it is a country that has banned Nigerians for about the longest time.
And don't forget also that actually this is the third denial. This is the third denial, right? Since this government, this administration came on board in a year.
Oh, yes. First they told us, UAE has...
UAE lifting the ban and resumption of Emirates flights to Nigeria was denied. There was the investment from the UAE government, denied. And now this.
And denied again.
So, it's really painting us in very, very bad light. I'm embarrassed.
For a country that doesn't even trust our people.
I'm deeply embarrassed. And I think that at some point, this government needs to get their act right. All of this information, misinformation and disinformation that comes out from government quarters has to stop. It's bad for government business. It's bad for the image of Nigeria. The president
I am actually more concerned about the image of Nigerians.
Yeah, we go around looking for foreign investors. The president spends a lot of time, government resources, Nigeria's taxpayers' money, to go out there and say, come to Nigeria. And then we demarcate ourselves by these actions. It's terrible.
All right. Thank you. So Lagos, that's it. That's a man who's going to analyze Nigerian situation to you today, especially as regards the budget. I hope you're ready, Mr. Shego, because there's a lot we have to talk about that. Lagos, let me run you through the hot topics that we have this evening very quickly. And the hot topic this evening, Tinubu 6 injection of 6.2 trillion into 2024 budget. You remember there was a denial somewhere around the line. As a matter of fact, that budget passes second reading. Piam, like that. Piam. Remains smart if we don't, carry up goods. Kidnappers attack El-Rufai estate in Abuja, right? And then court reinstate Shaibu as Edo deputy governor. But Edo State, the government is saying, no, don't worry about that. It's not going to work. Doctor's report revealed that Nnamdi Kanu has complex conditions. This is according to his lawyer, Jimako. And then IPOB says release Nnamdi Kanu, so they tell Nigerian government. And then livestock ministry only benefits northerners. Can't solve any problem in Nigeria. So why on a greeting for in the first place? Pastor Giwa said that. Lagos, let's just see some of the hot topics. These are some of the hot topics we have. But no, we cannot, x-ray all these conditions without, of course, looking at other things that affect us in this country. Right. So you may also get to hear about your federal allocation, because it's very important that we tell you how your monies have been working curricula, and then so you go and hold the governors and local government chairmen who are now in charge of your local fund responsible. So IMF downgrades Nigeria's 2024 GDP growth projection. That is, they may rate us too high. They say, no, this rating is too high for you. Let's reduce it a little bit. Ouch. Okay. And then you would also hear that FG states LG's share 1.354 trillion naira for 1 month. And excess crude account balance is now $473,000.
Ouch.
Ouch. I had to look at your face after calling that figure so that I like the reaction.
That's painful.
Okay. All right. Ganduje blames poor people, INEC, for corruption in Nigeria. Oh, did I also tell you that, they have sacked Oga Ndume as the chief whip of the Senate and saying, Oga, go and sit down one corner first. You're no longer the chief whip. Please, you're talking to, honorable. Your mic refused to off. Off it. Lagos, these are the hot topics that we have. Let's take a break. I'll be right back as we begin to dissect the conversations one at a time. Stay with us. The Evening Rush with Pressures. Featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters rising on Hot Topic Party.
What was the rate of inflation, and then what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations. Critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP is not an oil-dominated.
To agree.
Like what's going on here?
You caught that again, right?
I saw that.
On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3. Voice of the People FM. Lagos. Now you have a voice. Welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So let's run you through some of these very hot topics very quickly. And, let's keep these stories that are big story. So let's begin with Abuja, where some terrorists suspected to be kidnappers causing mayhem in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, have attacked the El Rufai estate in Buhari Area Council. Now, it was gathered that the incident occurred in the early hours of today, when the assailants invaded the area, shooting sporadically. A man simply identified as Nathaniel was reportedly shot by the gunmen who engaged operatives of the FCT command in a gun duel. Why? The matter long sharp, but I don't give them a scope. I'm not gonna just understand it. I have to hurry to other conversations. And of course, in politics, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja today, Wednesday, voided the impeachment of Philly Tribal as the deputy governor of Edo State. Say that impeachment. Call it work, enter well. But PDP saying that Oga, excuse us, he still remains ousted. The new guy remains instead. So, all right. So that's it. But I just thought to give you a heads up with that. And then the Department of State Services (DSS) has allowed Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, access to a medical doctor. So preliminary reports from the doctor reveal that Kanu has a complex medical condition that requires that he be transferred to a hospital for detailed diagnosis. Now, this was disclosed by Kanu's lead lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, in a chat with newsmen today, Wednesday. According to Ejimako, today, DSS finally allowed Mazi Kanu, Kanu's physician, to see him. The doctor's preliminary report presented complex medical conditions that require that Kanu be taken to a hospital for more detailed diagnosis. This will follow a report that will be sent to DGDSS by the doctor. So you'd recall that on Tuesday, Jimako had disclosed that Kanu is suffering from low blood pressure, shortness of breath, and general malaise, and in the custody of the Department of State Services. However, the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB today, Wednesday, asked the Nigerian government to release its leader Nnamdi Kanu on the ground of health. See, now I'm not gonna release him now. I beg. Before we go to those economic stories, let's just quickly round up. So we do hear that former Governor Yahaya Bello has asked the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court to adjourn the ongoing case instituted against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission indefinitely. That is this probe where EFCC won't probe me. I beg court, my lord, can I? My lord, shall I? My lord, please cancel. In fact, postpone this case till further notice. Make them not just hear him again for now. That's what he's asked for. I can't give details of that because we're in a hurry. But hey, That's the news there. And then, of course, very, very, very quickly before I get to honorables that were turning off the mic. Former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and Bishop Matthew Kuka, the founder of Kuka Center, TKC, have attributed political corruption to dishonest poor Nigerians, INEC and other institutions, as we make Nigeria did the way it did. They say Mr. Ganduje insisted that blaming politicians and public office holders would solve the problem of weak institutions in Nigeria. But however, there's a large chunk of this that, of course, is the handiwork of poor people. That's how you talk. You see, Ganduje is roiled in a corruption case. Of course, you do know that. So he said these institutions man the polling booths. So tell me, can you win an election free? Even the poor man is not honest. If we are to go into details of what happens practically, you will see voters saying they cannot vote until they are paid. They cannot vote until they are paid. They say na so na the talk. When they talk say na politicians they suffer on na politicians cause corruption. But now when they collect money during vote, now be the real corruption. Mr. Kuka moderated a panel session calling for learning from past mistakes and then building on them for stronger institutions and democracy in Nigeria through some processes. He said, whether it is judiciary or bureaucracy, all is a work in progress. And the most important thing is for us to learn the mistakes of the past and to develop the mechanism for ensuring that things don't continue to repeat themselves. So, if you ask who built institutions, institutions are supposed to be a mirror reflecting the aspirations, the fears, the hopes, and anxieties of an entire people. That means that for the police to become an institution and for the bureaucracy to become an institution, Nigerians must collectively and individually learn to say no to things going contrary to the principles of that institution. If they give you bribe tomorrow, would you say no? That is the question. A lot of people may not be able to answer. So I think it's everybody's business, really, for Nigeria to have stronger institutions. So he says. So we go straight to the Senate, where Senator Govt Akpabio today read out a letter in the Senate House, which immediately sacks Senator Ndume because he spoke up against Tinubu, his appointment, and the hardship of citizens. He did say that Tinubu's administration is run by kleptocrats and kakistocrats, and So Senator Ndume, according to the letter read by Akpabio, has been immediately replaced with Senator Mohammed Tahir Munguno as chief whip. APC also instructed the Senator Ndume that he can leave the party and join another party. Since he be saying, they fit talk well about our president, we'll leave our party, we don't want you again. He recalled that Nigerians were saluting and the courage of Senator Ndume for speaking up about the wrong appointments in the government and the leadership. So, Mr. Shokpeton, would you like to speak on any of this? A lot of people said Ndume did not say anything when his brother Buhari was there for 8 years and did all the many things he did, and his own bureaucracy may have even been worse than that of Tinubu. Why did he not speak? Why is he speaking now? Are you saying that we had more technocrats in Buhari's administration than in Tinubu's administration? So why speak now? Remember, he's been in the Senate for about 20 years.
Yeah, he's a ranking senator.
Yes.
And I mean, look, this is all politics. And when these guys do these things, I honestly don't pay too much attention, because it's not about you and I. It's not about the common good. This is all political gamesmanship towards 2027. So yeah, it's 2027 that started already. So this is all the North making their voice heard very loudly that they're not happy. And to be fair, we thought President Buhari was clannish and was nepotistic. But I think, with all due respect to the current president, I think he's trumped him thoroughly.
But you're a Yoruba man. You should be happy that your brother is giving your people job.
He doesn't has the price of Gary.
So you see, the reason I had to say that is so that our fellow Nigerians will understand that the problem of this country, it's not about whose brother is in power.
Doesn't matter.
It's about it's a collective decision. I can't recall whether an Igbo man or Yoruba man or Hausa man go to different markets.
I don't
if
care.
we buy beans differently, at least we're all complaining about the price of beans together now, whether we're Christians or Muslims. So we need to understand that whatever decision we take based on religion or tribe affects all of us at the end of the day.
Exactly, and there are consequences for those, those decisions. So for me, this is Ndume just, fighting on behalf of the Cornut. He's not the first person. Remember the guy that talked about the double budget?
Ningi. Abdul Ningi.
Also from the north, and all of that. So a lot of things have been happening in that regard. And it's all towards 2027. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to this. He's been removed as the chief whip. I don't
he's
think
been dethroned.
He's been dethroned, and he's also been removed as chairman of the appropriations committee, which is a very what's that word now? Lucrative,
juicy position.
That's the word. Juicy, position in the Senate. So Akpabio slammed the hammer heavily on him.
That was based on an order. We did hear that it was from an order from the party.
Sure, absolutely. And who is the party, by the way? So you can add 1 + 1 and arrive at 4.
So going by what Bishop Kuka and Ganduje said, do you believe that the people should be blamed or held responsible for lack of proper institution or upholding institutional principles?
No, you can't blame
because
the people
while Ganduje thinks so, so.
No, I mean, look, the people
because the people actually ask for bribe during elections.
Yeah.
So what thing you wanna go give us? Make we vote for now.
It's the poverty. You see, poverty has been weaponized. We've heard this repeatedly. The people are acting in the manner that they've been programmed to act. I can't hold them responsible for that. The only problem I have with the people of Nigeria, is that we are too pliant. We're too pliable. We're too, our ability to adjust has become so legendary.
Like a frog in a hot spot
until you die. And then they say, push a Nigerian to the wall. He digs a hole in the wall and continues moving backwards. That's my problem with the people. And I think, we're speaking of here, I think there's a point when they can no longer dig a hole in that wall to go through. They're going to have to turn back and face you. And when, I think it's a when, that happens. It's not going to augur well.
Do you think Nigerians have the guts to do
it's
that?
Not a matter of guts, it's desperation and survival.
Remember that we're still divided heavily.
It doesn't matter. We're talking of hunger, my sister. Just like
hunger
you just
knows
said
no
now.
tribe.
Hunger does not know tribe or religion. So when people are hungry, look, we've had 2 test runs in the last 2 years. The government had better listen and pay attention. You see, it's better for civil society, of which I'm a part, to come out and organize protests. Because you can pick up heads of those civil society organizations, you can bribe some, you can jail some, and the thing will be quelled. When protests become spontaneous as a result of hunger-driven anger, it's very dangerous.
Do you think we've had a test run? I hope you're not making.
We have had a test run.
I hope you're not making reference to NSAS.
No,
because NSAS was a fantastic test run.
No.
Okay.
Not NSAS.
Okay.
2023, just last year, we may have forgotten. Between February and March last year, we had the cash crunch. And people could not access money to eat. So people, men, women, would go with their children and sleep in banking halls and outside the banks. They couldn't get cash.
Their own money.
Because they couldn't get that cash, they couldn't buy food. So their children became hungry, even though they had money in the bank. The frustration spilled over and people started burning up banks. This happened in several cities across Nigeria, Ogbomoso, Abeokuta, parts of Lagos, and all of that. It was all over the news. That was the test run. This was spontaneous. Then, early this year, in the aftermath of the inflation, food inflation in particular, around March again, February. You remember those riots?
Yes, the riots in some parts of the north.
In some parts of the north, including the north. And some parts, Port Harcourt, happened in Minna, happened in Kano, happened in parts of Lagos. Those protests were spontaneous. They were driven by hunger. If we allow that to become national, probably triggered by maybe a policy statement or something, that this, the government keeps pushing, it will be very dire. So the reason it will not be controllable.
So the reason I asked is because there's this smart move that we've noticed in protests recently, where they get infiltrated by some. I don't know if it's some government agents or some other agents, and then government will say, "Oh, we don't want any riot to last more than 1 or 2 days because it will be hijacked." And at the end of the day, it will be hijacked. Hijacked by who? And that's why I said I hope NSAS isn't one of those, because NSAS did not end well.
Absolutely.
Because at some point I didn't think NSAS actually made the right mark.
I agree with you. Do you know the people that do the infiltrating? If you've been noticing on social media,
like the people who use BRT bus to drop people during NSAS.
So some of those guys are now complaining.
Oh,
some of those guys are doing videos to say we are going to burn this country down. There's one particular young guy, he's a Yoruba guy, Yoruba. So you know that this guy was part of the people that were used during NSAS to infiltrate this riot. The guy himself is threatening to to start a protest, and he said he doesn't do peaceful protests. There's going to be violent protests. So we shouldn't allow that to happen. Unfortunately, see, for me, survival instincts and self-preservation, I know that people like you and I, because you are wearing this, your beautiful hair, and my wife is looking this
Don't
fine.
let me talk, because I like to say, have you seen? Okay, let me shut up.
You know, they
Go
will
ahead.
think that we are part of them that are in government quarters, in those corridors of power, and they will attack us as well. That's my own, you know. I'm just like, look.
They will not know that we're even perhaps worse than them. We're nothing come our body at all. All right, so let's get straight to those issues. Where do I even start from? Let's start with the IMF. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has downgraded Nigeria's real GDP growth in 2024 to 3.1% from 3.3% in April. Now, the IMF made this known in its recent update to the Global Economic Outlook, titled "Global Economy in a Sticky Spot," released yesterday. Yeah, that was it. According to the report, the downgrades in the country's economic growth stems from weaker than expected activities in the first quarter of 2024. Are you surprised?
No, not at all.
Do you think our GDP will still grow by 3.1% by the way?
I don't think so. I never thought it was
because we had to state this, considering all the indices before us.
You know, when you have, look, growth is driven by consumption. Consumption is driven by purchasing power. Purchasing power is eroded by inflation. Inflation is out of control in this country. GDP will not grow. It's not that it will not grow at all, but it will not do the kind of numbers that had been projected. I mean, this government projected 3
So let's get straight to that budget issue. Like yes. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has forwarded to the Senate for consideration and approval the injection. Hey, that is the chook injection inside the 2024 budget. The 2024 budget been there only 27.5 trillion naira. Sorry, I had to switch languages at times, sometimes because I need it is let them understand what is really happening. Do you understand? Yep. They say your federal government, they don't add 6.2 trillion naira inside the 2024 budget. Will be 2.7 trillion naira before. Now 2.7 trillion before they can't 27.5 trillion naira before they can't add 6.2 trillion naira on top. So the president, in the request via a letter read on the floor of the Senate by its president Govt during plenary today, Wednesday, specifically sought for withdrawal of 3.2 trillion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for capital expenditure. Where are the capital expenditures? Because where are the capital? Where? I don't know. Okay. The president, in the second leg of the request, sought for withdrawal of another 3 trillion naira. 3.2, then 3 trillion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for additional recurrent expenditure for the year ending December 31, 2024. Now, according to the letter, Tinubu is also seeking an act to amend the Finance Act of 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks, and which they will in turn, of course, pass on to us, their customers, and to provide for the administration of the tax and matters related thereto. For expeditious consideration, the Senate had already listed the two requests on its order paper as executive bills for consideration. If the requested 6.2 trillion naira injected into the 2027 project, the total amount we'll have for the budget for the year 2024 will be 33.7 trillion naira. Now, Mr. Shegu, this is very worrisome, like it bites belly. Let's make people understand that first, we have the 2024 budget of, I think I'm taking us far away. We have the 2024 budget of 27.5 trillion naira. Then we had the president seek to extend the lifespan of the 2023 budget that President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law. They claimed they were extending only the capital components. And I'm wondering where that capital components, where the things one that they use and they do. And then they also extended the lifespan of the supplementary budget for 2024. That is how many budgets now? 3. And then they now added this one now on top. You remember that when this happened, when Peter Obi and other people opposed to it, that you cannot run 4 budgets in a country that is, recipe for disaster, this will be bad. People said, and they said, hey, bad belle, and I don't they talk, good. bad belly, and then they carry I see good thing. The country is not running for budget. The country has not done this. Like this one was not going to happen. At the end of the day, it has happened. Please, Mr. Shegun, let me leave it to you to break down. Please help me. Don't use too much big grammar. Let my Nigerians calm down and understand the implication of what is happening.
Well, so the first thing is that, budgets are policy documents. And they are basically documents that are used to plan. So the government is like a business now. You have expenses, you have income. And you must lay out a plan of what you're going to do for every year.
Before you go market, you go write list.
You write your list. So this is just like the list that you're taking to the market. That's what the budget is.
But now, the worry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The worry we have, or a lot of people would have, is that if you say you're transferring components or you're transferring 1 year budget to another year, to extend it to the end of another year, normally before you write the new year's budget, would you not have put into consideration those things that you did not complete in the other budget, in this other budget? And if you had put them in the 2024 budget, then why still extend the lifespan of the 2023 budget? Or is there something we're missing as Nigerians?
So the problem is that this government people don't seem to understand that the entire economy, the Nigerian economy on the one hand, and the global investing community on the other hand, relies on that document to plan. So they're going to look. So I've done this before in a job as the head of corporate strategy of an organization. One of my jobs was to take the budget released by the government every year and look through the different expenditure plans to see where the opportunities are, so that we can then plan how we are going to run for the year and where we're going to direct resources into. Now the problem is as an investor or a corporate organization, I've seen one budget, then a supplementary budget comes out, then an extended budget from the previous year follows it, then another, it's confusion, and it defeats the whole point of the budgeting process. The budgeting process is for planning. So how can you have a process that is supposed to be a plan being totally planless? Like it's just haphazard, it's random.
Are you saying that that's the true picture of? That's the true picture of the Nigerian budgets now?
No, it's terrible. So of course somebody will argue and say no, but we're going to add it up and consolidate it, just like you were saying. We had a 27.5 trillion budget.
Yes.
All you have to do now is to add 6.2.
33.7.
So you now have that. So it's still a budget. So instead of having 27.5 budget before, you have a 33 trillion budget. But it's not that simple.
And how about that of last year?
But that's the point. Exactly. So how come the point you made is a very critical point? Look, the budget for 2024 was approved in December of 2023.
And at that December, they knew they had not done a lot of things in the 2023 budget.
Was the 2023 budget component not added to the budget for 2024? Another question.
I did not do maths. You see, I did not like maths. That's why I didn't do science. So you help us break it down.
Another question. Usually there's something they call budget performance. You look at the revenue performance of a budget. You look at the expenditure performance of the budget. Now, you can extend the expenditure component of the budget all you want. But the revenue component, at the end of a financial year, you have collected the revenue, you have collected it. That's the end of the story. Whatever you collect thereafter is for the new year. So if you are saying you're extending the expenditure component into a new year, how will you fund it? So
because you don't collect profits.
You have collected your revenues, you have spent it already.
It's like who go market
50 or 60% revenue performance. It's done and dusted. And you have spent all of that on your expenditure. The one that you could not collect, you have borrowed money against it to execute. You are extending the expenditure budget. Where will you fund it from? So that creates more confusion for the people that are doing their planning in their various offices and all of that, So it's terrible. Now, there's another part of this new request that I find worrisome. So what the president has done, and I laughed when I saw this, because we talk more during the elections, running up to the elections, and and the immediate aftermath. I kept saying it that on the basis of antecedents, the way to predict how a person will act in the future is to look at what he did in the past. That's the easiest way to check what a man will do. Now, if you look at the president that we have today, just come to Lagos and check how he ran Lagos. It's revenue. In fact, it became a campaign item.
So like a tax collecting.
He is a tax-driven leader.
And that is already, moving into the federal level now.
So now you can see that what happened was that somebody somewhere said, Mr. President, the banks just declared profit from exchange gains, and then say,
plenty money. How many billions?
How many? Oh yeah.
Moko tax them.
Raise a bill. No. Send it to National Assembly. You can't run a government like that. That's pure planlessness. The purpose of one of the major purposes of government is to create stability for plans to happen so that growth can follow. So if you run a government like this, where just your eye just like only tunnel in Yoruba, like your eye just shine, you just see money somewhere and you target it, you create a new tax to collect that money. You can't run a government like this. You can't run a business, much less a government. And for me, that's the problem. So now the president has seen an opportunity in exchange gains, wants to tax it, a one-off tax. We don't know what percentage that is going to be. That's a joker that is coming. So now, when the act is eventually released and we see it, maybe let's assume that one-off tax is, say, 30% of the exchange gains of, these corporations. The expenditure component of this budget says there will be 3.2 for capital expenditure, the renewed Hope Capital project, and 3 trillion for recurrent expenditure. The recurrent expenditure of a government is supposed to be fixed and should have been planned at the beginning of the year. Why? You know exactly how many staff
you're paying
have.
Salary, exactly.
You know your salaries. You know your overheads. You know all of the things, all the fuel you are going to buy.
You know the ones that are going to retire this year. You know the ones that are coming in.
So how can you have a 3 trillion naira additional recurrent? Haba. These things don't add up. There is a problem somewhere. For me, this is smelling and screaming graft.
So that's what's the meaning of graft for pidgin English? Guys say they smell like wayo
scam.
Like saying wayo scam.
419.
You could make it talk and well.
It's looking very bad.
So another very worrisome development. Very worrisome development is that the Appropriation Act for 2024 itself was passed on to the Senate to pass without the proper breakdown of how much money goes for which agency or parastatal. Till now, I don't know if you know, sir, and that's why I invited you, because of course you're a sweet economic and financial expert. So I want you to come and help us. You see, I call him sweet in front of you know who. All right, so I want you to help us break it down. The idea, the reason we are Voice of the People is so that we educate the people on what the gains and otherwise of governance or government is. Let them understand, because before now, anytime people hear economy story, they go say, they sweet. So sometimes it could make a break and damage.
We need to pay attention. No.
So because now they have our money, then they from the laws.
Also, this Gary that has moved from 1,000 or 1,005 per bucket, paint bucket,
4,500
is now 4,500. And it is as a result of decisions like this. So if you think that the economy or this economic story doesn't affect you, you're on a long thing, you need to pay attention and get angry. I'm saying it. Yeah, you have to get angry.
So going back to that conversation, is it fair? Is it good? Say Senate receive or the National Assembly receive the 2024 budget without a proper breakdown of say, this 27.5 trillion naira, Ministry of Power go take 2 billion naira, where they go use give social communities light for social places.
So what happened?
Ministry of Water Resources go take. So why was that no proper break till today?
No, there was.
Yet to, but it wasn't made available.
Let me explain. So what happened was that there's a portion of the budget, the federal government budget itself, the ministries, the breakdown was provided. The government-owned enterprise, they call them GOEs, government-owned enterprises, and statutory bodies. INEC, those bodies that the Constitution empowers for first-line charge from the revenue account, from the federation account. So those INEC, National Population Commission, Judiciary, the National Assembly, those people are entitled to take their money directly without going through the executive and the Minister
because they're supposed to be independent, even though not so independent.
Exactly. So those people, the problem was that there was a portion of the budget that was meant for those agencies and statutory bodies that there was no breakdown for. So what that means is that money, technically speaking, from the point of view of the people, those of us, the voice
so
of the
technicalities
people,
will not take it now.
Oh yeah. So what will happen is that there can't be accountability because there was no breakdown. So whatever they decide to do with that money, it's a law. That's the implication. It just means that you can't hold them to account because there was no breakdown that was approved for those. So they will come back at the end of the year They're supposed to have oversight meetings, with the appropriate Senate committees and give account for those monies. But how can you give account for money that was not appropriated for specific projects?
So, but was it even fair that the National Assembly was not given at least up to 4, 5, 6 months, which is 6 months, which I think is basic, to go through the budget before passing?
Yeah, look,
they are always rushed to pass the budget. Why?
It's better now
because it should be properly studied.
Yeah. I think the budget process for 2025 has been triggered already. This is July, so we're talking 5 months to the end of this. So typically
5 months is small. Now, didn't
it's
6
small,
months?
but really, given how our governments run, we know that these cycles really don't. For me, the most important part is that the budget is approved before the end of 1 year, so that when you are moving into the new year, you have a new budget. Unfortunately,
which we don't also get to start immediately.
It's a problem now because they are extending the old budget. I don't understand that one. So there's a lot of irregularities, things that you really can't explain or understand clearly that is happening with this budgeting thing, and it's important for people to understand that it's the budget that is the basis of withdrawals.
Okay, so now before we move to the Federal Allocation Accounts Allocation Committee, what is the implication of the House of the National Assembly passing this
the
additional 6.2 trillion naira? It's gone through second reading already. It's past second reading already. What is the implication of the legislature working in sync with the executive? What would that mean to the lead?
Well, look, I have to choose my words carefully, but what this means is that there is no accountability. There are no checks and balances. The democracy can only work where there are checks and balances. If you take it out, you have an autocracy.
I wanted to say without scrutinizing the executive.
Scrutiny.
Exactly.
Without somebody saying, no, go and take this one back. Go and change it. The only Senate we have had in this country that has done that thoroughly and effectively was Bukola Saraki's Senate.
I was just mentioning Saraki in my head
because of the
differences between him and
that happened
Buhari
within their party. That was the only Senate that we had that played its role, even though I think it went a bit overboard. But it's better to have a Senate that is overly antagonistic than this one that just say yes sir, that the Senate president says yes sir to the president. Hello, you are the number 1 citizen of the legislature. You are number 3 citizen of Nigeria. So
he's not looking at the legislature as another arm of the executive.
No, they're rubber stamp now. Akpabio knows that he's a rubber stamp Senate president, with all due respect to him. So for me, that is dangerous, because that is, look, the speed with which bills are beginning to be passed through that Senate is unheard of. This is the worst Senate I have seen in my adult life.
What does this mean?
It is as bad as do you know what happens at the state level, state assemblies? The governor just drafts laws, they send it in, and that document comes back the same day. First reading, second reading, third reading, approval. Then they'll bring it back for assent that day, because there's one deal that they're trying to do. We're pushing the National Assembly to that level, and that is dangerous. Not because of this budgeting. This budget one is bad. But if the president wakes up tomorrow and decides that he wants to amend the constitution so that he can run again, for example, just giving you how dangerous this can be, can this Senate stop him?
He will not be able to have the position that Obasanjo got.
Where will it come from? So that's where the danger of all of this, and that's why Nigerians need to begin to scream and say, no, this must not continue. You cannot be having first and second reading on the same day. The drafters of the constitution and the rules of the legislature did not anticipate a situation where those things will happen on the same day. You are supposed to read, contemplate, go back, bring it back after all the comments have been taken, into consideration at the committee level, before you finally bring it for the third reading and then, votes, as the case may be. So this, it has to stop.
All right, so let's go straight to Federal Allocation Committee. As we hear that, my people listen well. They don't share money between federal government, on our governors, and on our local government chairman. So I'm not gonna go begin as them we say they carry the money do. So the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, has shared 1.354 trillion naira for June revenue among the federal, state, and local government. Now the revenue was shared at the July meeting of FAC held in Abuja and chaired by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edu. A communique issued by FAC stated that the total revenue of 1.354 trillion comprised statutory revenue of 142.514 billion naira and value-added tax, VAT, okay, remember our VAT, the one that we used to scatter beer in the north and then tax beer in the south. Exactly. VAT revenue of 523.973 billion naira. It also comprised electronic money transfer levy (EMTL) revenue of 15.692 billion naira, exchange difference revenue of 472.192 billion naira, and augmentation of 200 billion naira. Now, the communique said that the total revenue of 2.483 trillion naira was available in June 2024. The total deduction for the cost of collection was 92. Cost of collection, was 92.112 billion naira, while total transfers, interventions, and refunds were 1.037 trillion naira, with gross statutory revenue of 1.432 trillion naira, which they will share. According to the statement, this was higher than the 1.223 trillion naira received in May. And it is higher than the May federal allocation that is shared by 208.773 billion naira. In fact, there is a lot that was said in this conversation. Bottom line, monies have been shared. People have won Agbada now. Sure. They've gone to Abuja now to collect Agbada money. Yep. How will the people, the led? Because I think that if the states are paying attention to their people, just like we expect the local government, now that they're autonomous, to pay attention to their people, we may have true liberation and development in our country. What should an ordinary citizen normally expect from their people apart from paying salary? With this money, especially governors and House of Assembly and local government chairman. I
mean, look, it's unfortunate. You see, this question you ask is very complicated because, unfortunately, because why I say that is the people that have gone to Abuja to share this money don't owe their existence to the people.
But the people brought them to power.
Did they? Did they? Because you might think so and you might say so, and the election results say so. But the politicians don't think so. Trust me. Because if they did, if the politicians actually feel obliged, feel obligated to the people and believe that, it's the people that brought me here, they will be afraid that if they don't do well, the people will take them out. Can we really stop any one of these guys? Have we not had situations repeatedly where people that did terribly in previous administrations returned? Because our elections, we just have to say it as it is. Our elections we've got a long way to go. Let me put it that way. So
sorry.
Sorry. They will not get me. So
sorry.
They will not get me because they don't like what I'm saying. So now the issue for me is that what can the people do? Really, what can we do? So these monies have been shared. Yes, we should be asking questions of the people. We should be asking questions. We should be asking questions of our elected officials, of the governors, the House of Assembly members, the local government. But when you ask those questions and the answers don't come, what do we do? And how do you ask those questions? So if you send a letter, for example, to say the Ministry of Finance in your state and say, look, you've received an allocation of whatever it was, 2 billion or 10 billion or 5 billion.
So we'd like to know the breakdown of what
can we see what you've used it for the month of May?
Because of course the Ministry of the Commissioner for Finance should know.
Is accountable to
or the Accountant General of the state should know.
Right. So if you do that letter as an ordinary citizen, will you get a response? So I represent a civil society organization, and we've written letters like this before, on several occasions. And I can tell you that more often than not, you get sidestepped. You write in those letters and they will give you some funny response. And if you really want to push it, you've got to be very determined. So I think that yes, we have to ask the questions. We've got to keep asking them. Because if we don't, then we're just giving up.
So, let me quickly ask again: if it's clearly stated in the Constitution that we should know the remuneration of our political office holders, that is our governors, our presidents, our House of Assembly members, our National Assembly members, our local government chairman, and all that, why do you know how much your governor earns in salary, sir?
I have an idea.
That is not just his salary, his salary and all allowances. Do you know? Why will you not know?
Nobody knows.
Why will you not know?
And
is it not our right as citizens to know?
And to add on top of that, the governor is entitled to something called a security vote.
That you never get to know the amount.
Actually not required to account for it. by law, he's actually expected not to account for it. So, yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know what our governors earn.
So how do we run a true democracy without knowing exactly how people whom we have voted into power, how much they earn, both in wages and allowances?
The democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So the government that we have now is of the people. And that's about it.
Okay, not by the people, by selected few.
Yes. So I think the day that the people decide that the government is theirs, then we'll have democracy. Right now, the people have not taken ownership of government. We need to take ownership of government. We need to understand. We need to let the politicians know that we are government and that you actually work for us to run our government.
Do you think Nigerians are educated enough to demand?
Well, that's part of what we're doing now.
People.
That's why these conversations are important. That's why it's important to break it down the way you like breaking it down. You know, taking it down to language, the street parlance, so that people understand that this guy is actually work for you. You see that guy when he drives his G-Wagon or Lexus and all that, it's your tax. It's the money you paid that local government guy that they used to buy that car.
Including the president. It's the money you pay the president, the governor.
That plane that they just bought is our plane. Literally speaking.
Oh, speaking about plane. Oh, no.
$150 million. Sorry. No vex. I reminded you.
Why are you doing like this? Mr.
I reminded you.
Mr. Shok, where Nigerians are so do you think the government have been fair to the people with the way they've been expending public funds?
I mean, look.
Now, a lot of people will tell you, oh, you want the president to die. Why will you not want him to change his jet? That in the space of 2, 3, 4 months, we have had over 4 or 5 governor heads of state or their deputies or vices die because of plane mishaps and all that. And you want that to happen to our president? Please, sir, we have about 10 fleets. Flights in an aircraft in our national fleet, right?
Yeah.
And out of that, 4 of them are helicopters from what we gathered, and we have 6 of them which are proper aircraft. We hear that 2 of them are actually very bad, one of which the president ought to be flown in, and it's very bad, and because of that we needed urgently to change. Please, sir, what happened to the rest of them? But what do we need more than 1 helicopter to pick the president from one state to the other for?
The rest of them are not big enough and they're not luxurious enough for the number of people that follow the president when he travels around. That's just the truth. So the one that we're buying now is a luxury business jet. It has to be big enough to take the president's entourage. That's the issue. So for me, the question is, do we really need it? Really? Are you telling me that president cannot fly first class?
Okay, so why don't we sell the rest? At least just keep 1 chopper, 1 helicopter, then sell the rest, both the ones that are manageably good and the ones, and then just buy only this one. At least we know that maybe perhaps by the time we raise all that money funds, you could perhaps afford this. Why can't we do that?
When they appoint me as an advisor and spokesman for the government, I will let you know that I'll come and explain on their
So do
behalf.
you think political office
Right
holders
now,
have been fair to Nigerians in the way they expend public funds? Again, I ask.
No. Look, and this is one of the biggest problems that I have and that we've been speaking about since this administration came on board. The lack of empathy that is the style of this government is dangerous and is unfair. You can't be saying to a people that we have painful decisions to make in order for us to enjoy down the line, and then while you make that decision and the pain, we're feeling it truly, you are jollofing, you are buying planes, you are renovating houses and buying SUVs. All of that, the signaling and the optics, how it looks, let me say, normal English, how it looks is bad. And it will leave people feeling shortchanged, feeling like they are holding the short end of the stick, like they've been hoodwinked, including, very interestingly, people that actually voted for this government. I interact with a lot of people. People are unhappy, they're disappointed, they're disillusioned. And they're saying, no, this is not what we signed up for. This is not what you guys told us. So I think the president would do well to pay attention to these things that we're saying. Some of us, when we say these things, not because we don't like a particular person. It's because these things need to be said so that they can self-correct, so that they can course-correct and do things better. You can't continue to run the country the way we're running it, with the amount of impunity and insensitivity, lack of empathy that we have, and think that people are going to be happy. And when people are not happy, one spark, it's dangerous. they have to be
But
careful.
well, you know how Nigerians are. You just said it already that if you push them to the wall, they bore a hole and then they continue.
There's always a breaking point.
There
is always a breaking point. And it's important that the president ensures that we don't get there. It won't be good. So it's important. Let them just show that they care. And the funny thing is, Nigerians are so easy to please.
Nigerians don't ask for too much. They don't request for too much.
It's so painful how easy to please.
So they're not like very enlightened. Like they're not like France. That's one small thing. In France, they're not like France. Your guys,
my people.
You guys are not like that.
I love those guys because if Macron wakes up on the wrong and he wears the wrong shoe, they will enter street and protest. They will protest. I love those people. So we're not like that. Nigerians are easygoing. All they want to see, they will even tell you. Nigerians will tell you, we didn't say you shouldn't steal. Just build road for us. We didn't say you shouldn't steal. Just fix a hospital. That kind of thing. That's the kind of people we are. So, but when everybody, in spite of being so easy to please, when everybody is now this angry, it means that somebody is not paying attention at all.
And then government, on the other hand, will say that, we're doing well to also alleviate the suffering of the people. But they're sharing rice. A rice that will amount, it's 25 kg. It's 25 kg bag, it's not 50 kg.
Exactly.
And they say that, and that 25 kg if you go by the 15 million estimation of poorest of the poor Nigerians as at last year, that estimation, which perhaps may have tripled, not just doubled, going by what's happening now. If you go by that estimation, that means about 150 people will be sharing 125 kg bag. That means one person, one poor of the poorest may get like quarter cup of rice,
which will finish tonight. So what happens tomorrow? I mean, look, these things are ridiculous. The president has to understand that there has to be a deliberate effort to solve the problem that they have created. You will not solve it by distributing rice. You will not solve it by bringing
and with the
grains
kind of amount of money we may have
reserves.
Expended on that again.
It's ridiculous. I did a calculation. It's about 40-something billion naira for just that.
Shouldn't that have perhaps created a job that would have given even more people jobs?
Exactly. Or in fact, just pump that money into subsidies into the farms. Subsidize farm produce.
Yes,
instead of giving
like they do in some countries. I hear,
they do it. The United States of America till tomorrow subsidizes farmers. Till tomorrow. This America that IMF and World Bank came from, the IMF and World Bank that are telling us we should remove subsidy, they still subsidize energy till tomorrow. In the US, so I think the president has to understand that. I've said it. I was on air this afternoon on a TV station, and I said exactly what I'm saying, and I'm going to repeat it now. Subsidize food and subsidize transportation. I cannot believe for the life of me that the president has sent a budget to the National Assembly for 6.2 trillion additional money, and that request is not for him to send subsidies into the agricultural food chain, so that the price of food will collapse. You can crash the price of food by 100%, by 50%, if you subsidize farmers directly. You have farmers unions, you have cooperatives. So there's an organization that you can lean on to send that money down to the bottom of the pyramid. There's an organization. I keep saying,
some will still go to the wrong hands. Remember what happened to the Anchors Borrowers Fund and the rice pyramid issue and all that.
I agree. That will happen. In fact, Lagos state government did something like that. That was one of the things that I said, no, this is a good initiative. I love it. They worked with market people to provide 30% discount on market goods and services. So you go there, I think they worked hand in hand with some mobile money provider. So you buy, they will give you a token. When you get to the market, you use that token to pay, and you pay 30% less than the price of the goods. And they did it for about a month. It worked. Some of the monies were diverted, like you said, but a lot of it got to the people because it's electronic. It was easy to monitor. So why can't the federal government borrow a leaf from Governor Sanwo-Olu? That one, Sanwo-Olu did it well. So why can't we do that at the federal level and alleviate this suffering? Okay,
so this 4 budgets the Nigerian government is now genuinely running, because after denying it, so it's now clear that that's what's the implication. This 4 budgets that the Nigerian government is running, the new aircraft that our president has bought, by the way, the 5 billion naira yachts, the 21 billion naira house for the vice president. After all, he cannot stay in an ordinary house. He's a whole vice president. Yes, that's not inclusive of the one they used to renovate his Lagos residence. So it's different. And the entire expenses by the government. What is the implication of all of this to our economy? That is, to the poor man that will eat garri tomorrow. How will all of this affect them tomorrow? Just so we know and know whether we have hope.
I think the real damage that all of these things do is that it will curtail growth. Without growth, nothing will happen.
That is the pikin when them born go get stunted growth. You know,
it will come the kukute short.
But you shall not go get kwashoko.
You all join it will definitely have kwashoko on top of it again, on top of not growing tall. So that's the problem, because all of these things are sending terrible signals to the places where the growth will come from. So if we don't grow, plus the inflation problem that we already have created by the same government, you are now doing mixed messaging, wrong signaling to investors and all that. We will not have growth, and if we don't have growth, poverty will increase. So the people that we see that are poor today, the numbers are likely to grow more because our economy is not doing well. So we've got a lot of work to do.
All right, Lagos phone lines are open. Let's begin to take your thoughts and reactions. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp line to call or send your WhatsApp message to is 0817 175 6338. 0817 175 6338. Hello, good evening and welcome. Good evening, are you there? Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Romeo.
Romeo, you're welcome. Where is your Juliet now?
Reference.
Sir?
You know, say we sabi copy where.
We sabi waiting.
Copy.
You know, say Nigeria sabi copy where.
So it means that we dey get long neck for exam.
See this way, this people do so, Kenya do so. Our own go back Kenya.
God forbid. I know son I go still come for me for saying God forbid, but may God shall still forbid.
You say God forbid. Don't worry now. Don't say as it go be. May they not change their policy. Thank you.
No change for me. Now my work they do. Thank you so much. I beg. See my body they pay me. All the dragging one they drag me since how many days? Body they pay me. When I not drag me. Phone lines are still open, Nigerians. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, welcome. Say, Samu. How are you, Sam?
Good evening.
Good evening and welcome.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you. You're the most compassionate female radio presenter. I'm telling you.
Hey, where the award now? Now you keep them for inside your mouth since you know bring them out since. Bring it now to fruition.
I'm telling you, the life. I'm so proud of you. The life you're touching.
Oh, thank you.
I listen to your show every day.
Thank
you're
you.
touching lives. You're a very nice lady, a gracious woman.
Thank you.
God will reward you.
Ami Loruko Jesu, the only Yoruba I understand in my life. Me?
I'm Ben. I'm calling from
Mr. Ben, you're welcome. Go ahead.
I want to talk concerning our Ndume. Nobody should listen to our Ndume. Nobody should sympathize with him because he is not speaking for us Nigerians. Everything is for his own selfish interest. The conditions they gave to Mr. President, maybe he has started failing them. That was why he was crying. Why he wasn't speaking for us is that check out the killings in the north. Farmers are not going to their farmland again. They are being killed in Katsina, in Burundi, in Niger.
They're even being taxed. In Benue State, people have to pay 20 million monthly.
Talk about it. So, that's billion from MFLA. I never heard Ndume talk about it. He was in the Senate. Tinubu carry part of CBN and the aviation come to Lagos. Ndume started containing Tinubu. And he was drawing line north, south, like carrying everything to south. This man is not speaking for us. When we were crying that they should start patronizing Nigerian-made vehicles, Ndume stood against it and said that Innocent doesn't produce vehicles. That all these people, they doesn't produce vehicles, they assemble. But there is no automobile company in the world that doesn't assemble. Even Mercedes and BM, they assemble. They doesn't produce parts. They assemble. And then the same Ndume said that this thing, if you steal up to 1 billion, that is when the law will catch you.
1 million, millions and billions no make sense reach.
Even if you steal 900 billion, you are free. So it's not a man. It's not supposed to.
Come and be going. It's okay. Honorable is okay.
I'm so proud of you.
It's okay. Thank you so much. Hello, good evening to you. Hello. Hello, are you there? Good evening.
Good evening, Precious.
Yes, good evening and welcome. Welcome, sir.
Austin from Negbeda.
Austin, you're welcome. Go ahead.
My greetings to your guest.
He can hear you. Thank you.
I want to ask Nigeria, if Nigeria will keep quiet, make this government cripple the whole economy of Nigeria. Because one, this our legislators, senators and House of Rep, they are not representing Nigerian interests. Why? This is why I say that is one, they are not standing for the masses of this country. Anything that concerns these masses is not their concern. Whatever they know is about their pocket, what they will get. And I say another one again that they attack Rufai, is it a house for Abuja? And they say it's government. It's not government, it's bandits.
No being house, na Rufai estate.
Estate, yes, they are heading to Asoro. The bandit, it not be his own government. Maybe they know the painter. Now bandit, they are in Asoro now. So maybe they know the paint wall. They are entering Abuja, they are Asoro very soon. Make Tinubu day prepared. Because
it's okay. That sounds like a threat to the president, and that's not fair. That's not fair. No. It's okay. You have to take that.
Okay, I will draw it.
Please, thank you.
I will draw it.
Cool.
Talking about now the Kano case. If the man dies for that place, Nigeria will not be at peace because the court has declared the guy innocent and acquitted, and the charge and acquitted. They still holding the man. If the man died there, Nigeria will not be a better country to stay because
it's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you don't call and then you make threats, on public radio, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, good evening. Are you there? Hello. Okay. So my village people have come now, Abi. All right, too. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Why do I have too many WhatsApp messages? Maybe I just start paying attention to them one at a time. Hello, good evening.
Pepe.
Sir?
Good evening, Pepe.
I can greet you. I greet you back. Good evening.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I want to appreciate your guest.
Thank you.
My name is Kelechi from Oshodi. I just want to appreciate you because I have no contribution for Nigeria and news. Just give me a platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our guests hear you too. Thank you.
Let me greet you very, very well.
They greet you back very well
too.
You're the good cop. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Hello, good evening to you. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, President.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's Victor calling from Ikeja.
Is that what, Victor?
Yeah, Victor calling from Ikeja.
Okay, Victor calling from Ikeja. You're welcome. Yes, very well. Crystal, go ahead.
I want to say a few things. The person that you are in the studio, he made a statement about the current members of the house now, which is led by what's his name, Abagio, right? Now the way they sign, the way they pass bill, if care is not taken, do you know that the way they pass bill and they can even pass bill and end it a day, do you know that they can wake up one morning and decide to
it was almost in a day that we signed the national anthem we're using.
That's what we are saying. There is no much proper consultations and debates. Do you know that they can actually wake up one morning and sign a deal to sell Nigeria and they will pass it a day? And before you wake up, you will just hear that we no longer have a nation. Our nation has been sold. So what he is saying, what I understand from what he's saying is that we need to check these people because the way they are going, the way our government is now run like a personal business. There's no longer sanity. There's no longer proper consultation. It's like people make decisions the way they want it, and nobody cares, and they don't care about anybody's opinion. And that is a very big problem in a democratic nation, because Nigeria is not for just the senators. Nigeria is not for just the Senate president. Sometimes when you see him pass a bill, he will just say, those in support say hi, those that the eyes have it, and that's it. You don't even want to listen to those that are saying no. You just say the eyes have it, and once he has been done, he has been done. So all these things, it is not helping matters. The earlier we start voicing out on some of these things, the better for us, because we don't have any other nation apart from Nigeria.
I agree.
If we lose it, I don't know if we are going to start calling ourselves saying we are from another nation when we are not from those nations. See what is happening, and we are struggling to travel to what is it called, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. What is this? What is this?
Thank you.
That's my stake, Sha.
Thank you so much. Appreciate. Yeah, go to some WhatsApp messages now. His Royal Highness BC Worker says, for a minister of the federal capital to post an unverified information is too bad. An act of obtaining criminality. It's too bad that this present government are fond of jumping into issues that they don't know much about. This is why the country is in a massive hardship as a result of ill removal of oil subsidy by the president. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my sister Precious. This is Mazi from Germany.
Thank you, Mazi. You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, my greetings to your guests. He said one thing that is very vital, very, 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 very important. In America, in Western world, in Germany where I live, most of everything is subsidized. You cannot remove subsidy from the lives of people. Here in Germany, everything, not only agricultural product, everything. Do you know here that transportation is subsidized to almost zero? Do you know that from here, from Berlin to Munich, that you are in a month, you only pay 49 euros to travel to, in fact, across Germany. Not for a trip or two to for a whole 1 month.
No matter how many trips you make in 1 month.
No matter how many trips.
So it's like me going from Port Harcourt to Abuja to Lagos, then to Kaduna
Maiduguri to Sokoto, Maiduguri to Kaduna.
And I toured the entire Nigeria in 1 month, and everything is just 49 euros.
49. You buy the 49 euros ticket, and it serves you for 1 month. What the heck is going on in Nigeria? This man came here and told, he was bragging how he built Lagos. How he built Lagos. Oh, my battery is gone. Oh, thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I am glad he went to your battery gone, because I know say go talk plenty. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, Edward from Adion says, what did he in Ndume stand to lose as he's removed from appropriation committee to not too lucrative committee? What is that to agree with saying? Igunje go losing down now. Good evening, Precious and the guests. The bane of what we're passing through now is that Nigeria has never produced any leader right in this country from inception. Even now, what we normally have are rulers and not leaders. And rulers are not always wise because they believe in their strength. And by strength, no man shall prevail. Late Yaradua was a leader, but nature did not allow him to. Apostle Paris sent in that message. If Yaradua was alive to complete his tenure, maybe the music you guys are singing about him now may have changed. You can't tell. Hello, good evening to you. Hello. All right, go back to more messages very quickly. The phone lines are still buzzing, but let's pay attention to some messages. Precious, why do we need IMF to tell us that what is obvious? Where will the growth come from when inflation rate is over 33%? Borrowing money for chop, if you like. Make read my message again. I did with you till the end. You see, I told you that they've been dragging my body. My body is paining me. This is my people. They drag me. We have a love-hate relationship, me and them. Okay, good evening, Precious and your guests. Precious, you are reading the budget. I'm going to bed empty hunger. Victor from Kenu. All right, I just want to appreciate you guys for the good job that you are doing. God bless you. Kenechiko from First Accent in that. Okay, he sent me a forwarded message. Unfortunately, I can't read that. This here says, "Good evening, Mr. Shokiton and APC spokeslady. Precious. For the NSAS protest, killings of innocent people and some imprisonment was conspiracy of people like Buhari, Tinubu, and Sonwolu. ECOWAS confirmed it. This government hates protests. They rather send Agberos, police, and army to intimidate the people, and then for them not to protest. It is not a bad behavior. It is not what. It is not a violation of human rights. Is that not a violation of human rights? Is this democracy? Like they say, the sinners from it when no man pursued them. But the righteous is bold as lion. Why is it? But the righteous is bold. That's what you said. Okay. He said, didn't they do protests in 2012? Why are they running from protests? The evil that man doeth or does lives with them. The Kenya protest will happen whether they like it or not. What you said a lot. I appreciate you, Dio from Fagba. Good evening, Precious. This government is ruling Nigeria as if there will be no country after their tenure. The embezzlement is alarming, and some of us seem being comfortable with this idea. Nobody checkmates them. Soon, our judges will be here with duplex. Raf from Satellite Town sent in that message. Good evening, Precious. The replacement of Ali Ndume by Akpabio has shown that politicians in APC do not like someone in their party to speak the truth. We did not vote any of them into power, and they forced themselves into us. Leo sent in that message. Good evening, Precious and your guest. Samuel from Ato from Festock says Tinubu and APC government should be very careful. They say they may think they have the military on their side, but when the rise up against them, even the soldiers will leave them and run away because themselves go run for their life. The only way forward is Nigerians to take their destiny in their own hands. You remember Hajia Hanatu, that said Tinubu told her during the campaign that he has no blueprint for the North and the whole country. Akpabio remains the West Senate president. That's what you said. They have removed Chief Whip Ndume because he is speaking against evil policies of the government, though he is one of them. Tinubu, Senator from Isala sent in that message. Precious, we really miss Buhari. Even at place of work, those that supported this government have all bowed their heads in shame. They wanted to shock Labour Party and Peter Obi. Now they are the ones that are in shock. I'm Rex from VA. Good evening, Precious. I still believe this government is a joke, a government that taxes its citizens so much, and yet we don't have the benefit of these taxes. Revolution is just the way. Just like your guest said, Nigerian democracy is just the government of the people for some elements in government and by some elements in government. I like sending that message. By the way, okay, yeah, it's fine. Precious, recall I had said yesterday that Akpabio's credibility was being put to test under pressure to wield disciplinary action on Ndume. Take it from me that the Ndume has been let loose to unleash more criticism now than ever on the government, which has become cancerous to the citizenry with its obnoxious policies and actions. Thank you for bringing another competent and objective analyst whose financial wizardry has... You hear the language they give you. You hear the grammar. They say, whose financial wizardry? That is, they call you wizard. If I were you, I wouldn't take that sitting. Whose financial wizardry has further exposed and punctured government's clueless inept economy advisors. See how amount that should have been used to flood the markets with food items is wasteful or wasted in their usual palliative economy. I agree with him that Akpabio has shattered records as the country's worst ever puppet Senate president ever. Tony Aneli sent in this. Tony, you and this your grammars that you sent to me. Remember, there is God. Good evening, guest and Precious. See, you journalists in our Nigerian state, I know that's how they do. They used to throw me stone every time. You journalists in our Nigerian stations, especially you, don't always agree that scholars say. Most scholars have talking about the plane that was bought, yet radio presenters will say it's not yet confirmed. I say that yacht. I was in Lagos. Nobody agreed. We go to bed empty hunger. Soon heaven will take the violence by force. Dave, you guys leave me alone. Let me go back to my phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome. What's your name, sir?
Good evening.
Hello.
By regard to your guest, yes.
My guest can hear you. Thank you.
What I just want to say is that we don't need to disturb ourselves so much. When you're in this Lagos, and you know when Tinubu
your network is breaking. Oh, hello.
is very glad to him. If you know how he finds his way around those people, you know that is exactly what happened here. Around him, they have already paid for everything. Don't just disturb them. People wake up and say that I don't want this Nigeria to become a percent. Sign that very particular. Nothing. He will not. He cannot change. He cannot say no. Oh, we never see anything. Oh, we just help us shout.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Well done for a good job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank
good
you.
Night.
Good night too. All right, I'll go to YouTube now. John 832 says, I don't land though. We see you. Mustafa Dawada says, that means there is no more freedom of speech. The Tinubu government is looking like it's worse than Buhari. Okay, Ifeanyi Ezenwata says, until someone tells me what happened to the rich rice pyramid, I no go rest. Okay, if I say that rest, you no go get that soon because that rice pyramid is still there for voicemail. And then Nathaniel Abu says, doing things with the same method and expecting different results is not possible. Please, APC and the president, Tinubu, should review his economic policies. Stop sharing money and greens, please. Chuka Ekwe says, good evening, precious. Nothing will change till 2027. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. Please. You don't know how people are hungry. Star Daniel says, Britain too. Joy said, Joy, I see you. Joy ZD. And Nathaniel says, no normal human being can miss Buhari and Tinubu are the same. Okay. Shotayo Ulufemi says, British Prime Minister flies in British air. Nothing absolutely wrong in us flying in Nigerian air. But the Hadisirika's gate didn't allow it to see the light of day. There is God, though. There is God in everything that we do. I agree with you. Okay, and all right, going back. Hello, good evening to you. Hello.
Hello.
Sir.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
It's me, Comrade Iroko from Ejibo.
Comrade Iroko, you're welcome, sir.
Yes, ma. Well done. No, I greet our guests. So.
We greet you too, my brother. Welcome.
God bless you. Let me come in from this angle.
Okay, sir.
You see, this Aliu Ndume we are talking about, from what we have heard so far, they said during Buhari era, this man tried. He has made some voices and he has been sacked from his race for once. At least I commend him because he has been trying among all the bad ones that are still in that parliament. But what God will do, he will later do it. But I don't want people to jeopardize this guy's effort. The way people are against this guy with what he has done. From we masses, so definitely they want to jeopardize Nigerians' effort. Because somebody is speaking on our behalf. And some people can stand up and be saying what the guy has been saying to the government. Is he saying the bad thing? Is he not saying the truth? So this is why I want to tell you that if you could imagine that we have prodigal son and we have bastard and they are different. I don't know if they are the bastard ones of this Nigerian people that are in control now. That is why Nigeria is doing like this. I can't understand. And the patient is the kid that killed the I don't know what to say.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Sorry,
I will deal with you later.
Sorry,
I'm on program.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. Take it easy, sir. Please, please. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, sir. Okay. Newness from Mushin says, if there will be any protest in this country, what I will write in my placard is, President Tinubu, please resign honorably. I'll stop it. Aine, give me Peter. Okay. You try. Wait. You say, Aine, give you Peter as president. Mazen Namdekano must not die. You please. Government should free him. That's what you said, Newness. I appreciate you. Robert Ali says, he says he's used. Ali Ndume is used to suspension. He was suspended in 2017. I think around January-ish, because I know it was in November that the court suspended that suspension. Overruled that suspension. So he said politicians that steal in millions and billions, there should be no death penalty for them unless they steal in trillions. It is the law of karma that fell on him. Hey, wait, why are you guys not nice like this? Good evening, Precious. Removing subsidy is totally inhuman and wickedness in Nigerian to Nigerian masses. If we keep quiet, Nigeria will not survive this government. Austin from Egbeda sent in that. Precious, you should be happy that our budget now rise to 30. It's not 31 trillion. Don't insult the other 2 trillion by the side, please. It's 33 trillion plus a lot of jara on top. Save. Let me look for the actual figure. Because how can you say 31 trillion? That's an insult to the money. So the total budget is now 33.7 trillion. A whole 2.7 trillion on top of it, and you're letting it go bam, 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 bam. So please just take note. So what did you now say again? And then he said, okay, our leaders have, okay, Precious, you should be happy. Okay, at least our leaders will have enough to share. Dumb. Nice. Greetings, Precious and the guest. Nigerians aren't honest people. They complain openly because now there is hunger in the land. But wait until next campaign trail off, and you will see multitude assemble at open squares, entertained by DJs and collecting freebies, wearing party caps and t-shirts. Where you are from mainland, they do us. Good evening, Precious. Thank you for the good work and thankless job you're doing. Without trying to direct your presentation, I would like to suggest contribute thoughts to the program. Stick to issues in discourse. Keep it civil and avoid confrontation and threats of all kind. Really, well, that's why we're voice of the people. We give them the voice to talk, but then we also guide them. Not to go overboard, please. Olatunde from Ayobo says, good evening, because I see the bite, if you be the way they bite another person. You feel me? My regards to your guests. You can see that this government are not moved at all about upcoming protests. They're still passing another budget. What I know is that one day, monkey go market, go return again. Okay. Yes, Richard from Germany was right. The ticket is called Deutschland ticket. And as he said, if you like to tour around Germany every day, you are free. You pay for the ticket monthly and you can use it to go anywhere in Germany from 1st till 31st if you have the will. There is subsidy in the basic human needs, and telling us that we cannot subsidize certain things in Nigeria is a scam. We subsidize we subsidize the expenses or expensive lifestyle of people who are milking our national treasury dry. But the masses are on their own. Our politicians you say they're con artists. Kali Nochi, Nordrhein. Okay, yeah, Dutch, calling from Dutch. Thank you so much. Deutschland. Thank you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Papa.
Sir?
Papa.
Sir?
How are you?
I'm inside the house. I'm still inside the house like this. I cannot say I'm fine.
Papa, now
who
me
now?
too, I'm not fine.
That makes us.
Michael, I beg.
Michael, you're welcome.
Michael, the talk. I beg.
Michael, where
I'm
are you
not
calling
fine
from?
myself, so it's not.
I'm
not
not
only
fine
you
too.
that is not
I'm
fine.
not fine.
I'm not fine. Now,
Hello?
I'll stop hearing from you. Okay. Now, the way I want to contribute is about Akpabio and Ndume. Like your guest said, it's all about themselves, you understand? It's not about the masses, the just politics. It's them. But having said that, at the same time, I can take anything as at this time. Anybody who even resembles to be speaking to the truth and for the masses, I can take it. Let it be that it's for politics. But any voice now that is against this government is okay by me. It doesn't matter. And for Akpabio, I think that man is not just the worst Senate president. I don't know. Kai, the way that man, people are angry with that man. I don't know whether the man does he have sense at all, because I don't know what he thinks of himself. Can he go to the street? Now, for this issue now, why can't Ndume go to court and challenge it? Because I see it as his fundamental right to freedom of speech. So, how can you? Okay, if you say you will not be the whip of the Senate, if it is the appointed, okay. How about removing him from the committees in the Senate? That is his constitutional right, as long as he's a senator. So those are the problem I have with Nigeria is that the government can just jump up any day and take up any decision. Nobody will challenge it in court. I'm not saying go to court because I know there is no hope in the judiciary, but at least test the water. You understand? If it is ordinary human being that does not have money to go to court, it will be a different thing. But it's a way to do money. He can go to court and pay his lawyer and test the water. Say, okay? So let him go to court and tell you cannot just because I criticize the president, which is my fundamental human right, and you say you strip him off all the this thing, the committee, this now, all the privileges I have and all the things. Because if they don't checkmate this thing now, it will be worse. No wonder nobody is talking there. All of them, none of them is talking there. So if there is anybody who can just champion this cause and start talking, and if allow him to be dealt with the way this man is being dealt with, that means there is no hope. As I told you, his day will come. I'm promising this time will come, and it will not be funny for him. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right. Hello, good evening. Good evening, are you there? Okay. All right, this message here says, all the gods in Nigeria are too hungry and too weak to act. Invoke them against this government and nothing will happen because this hunger spread even to the spiritual realm. Abi, kai for obligation is costly. Fowl and goats are costly. Kola nuts are out of reach of the worshippers. What shall we do now? We'll go from Alimosha. How do we appease the gods now when we can't afford these things? Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Pretty precious. Good evening.
Sir, welcome.
How are
sir.
you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. Welcome.
And to our distinguished guest. Good evening, sir. Oh, he's no more there.
He's there. He can hear you. He's greeting you too.
Okay. I've lifted.
Your line is breaking up.
Good job.
Mm.
It's unfortunate that in Nigeria, we are finding ourselves in the hands of a where you see, don't speak.
Oh dear. Can you hear us? Hello? 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 Okay, so you may have to try to call us back, okay? Okay, all right. Running to a few messages before I rush to the step down conversation. No greetings for you this night, Precious. Greetings to your brilliant guest in the studio alone. Precious, be careful, oh. Your God forbid is seriously making me angry, even more than the Nigerian problem itself. Please stop it. I'm watching you on Plasma TV. AY from Moshe. Hey. Hello, good evening to you. Sir.
Well done, oh.
Thank you.
Greetings to you, ma, and the guest, ma.
He can hear you, sir.
We thank God for your station and all the staff in that studio.
Thank
for
you.
enlightening the masses, for fighting the masses, for the news and informing the masses what's going on in the country. I take tonight one. Fela sang his song. I don't know whether the man is a prophet. That zombie no go until he ask them to go. That's what is playing in the country. Whatever the president says, the Senate, they don't have any power to turn it down because they've been bought over. So we are not in a country where they are practicing law, democracy, or doing what is good, because the president is the one who controls the country. They don't have the so that's why what we are having in this country. People are suffering. See what happened to the people that was suspended. For your information, my name is Ayush. If you speak the truth in this country, what they like is dishonesty, deceit, and lie and propaganda. Since 1914, that's where the foundation was built, the Nigerian foundation since 1914. There's no truth, no answer of truth. They are just deceiving each other. That's why we are in the problem. The INEC deceive us, the judiciary deceive us, the Supreme Court. So what the judges are doing in court, different courts, giving another judgment, giving big judgment. Nigeria was based on defeat. Defeat. No honest. It's dishonesty from A to Z. All institutions, quote me, there is a God called Aye called Peter. The truth is bitter. When you are saying the truth or arguing with the government, they will try to fight for you and do whatever they want. So only God can rescue, can deliver, can save us in this mess that we are in. That's my take home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll go straight to our step down conversation. So, Mr. Shegu, Mr. Shokweton, I don't know if you're used to the step down conversations we have on this show. So, we usually have a segment that we used to, breathe and water down the problems of the world, as it were. So, there is this particular lady who has been married for about 14 years, and for the past 3 years, her husband has not stood up at all. He's not working at all, and he has refused to seek help. And she's wondering what to do, because he says he cannot go and stand before his fellow man in the hospital to go and tell him that my team cannot stay here. So what should she do? Because it's a very dicey situation. You're a man, and that's why I thought to bring it before you. Lagos, that's a step down after the break. Maka, the progress of the family. What should she do? He tells her that, I beg, that is not the only reason why we're married. Marriage is for better, for worse. So please, let's be alive and take care of our children. That's what matters. So because man shall not live by bread alone, so we should not make the price of bread out of the roof. Lagos, that's a step down after the break. We'll be right back.
From the views on the streets,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and pressure for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Yes, Lagos, you are welcome back. It is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So, yes, I just remembered. Thank you to Mr. Ola from Chicago and everyone who's helped to assist Mr. Chijioke Anthony Onyenwe, the blind man who's been down with prostrate for a while now. Thank you so much. I received your emails and I received his phone number and account details, and I've passed it on to you. And I want to believe that you've done something about it. God bless and replenish and enrich your pockets. For those who may be asking for his number, he's a blind man. He has a wife and a kid, and he's been down with prostrate. He can't afford the surgery, so he's been moving around, urinating inside a sack, a catheter. So that's the way it is. A catheter had to be connected because he needs to, of course, obey the call of nature. So it's been a very dicey situation for him. And that's one of the problems of bad economy, because of the economic situation of the country, he cannot afford his surgery. Normal, if we just go doing surgery, jejely, we no hear the voice. But now, he cannot. So, in case you'd like to reach him personally to verify him, his number is 0814-831-8987. 0814-831-8987. That's his phone number. So you can call him by yourself and extend your help to him. 0814-831-8987. That's his number. He also sends his account details, and I appreciate you. So, Mr. Shegu, going to that conversation, the lady writes, my husband's manhood has stopped working completely. We are married for 14 years, and himself is just, he's 48 years. It started in the last 3 years. He doesn't even manage to even stand at all. I have tried every trick on him and nothing worked. The painful part is that he doesn't even want to hear when I tell him, let's go to the hospital. If I suggest the hospital, he won't eat my food again. How can he go to him? He will not tell himself, how can he go to the hospital and explain to his own fellow man that he cannot stand up? That what kind of thing is that? That it's embarrassing for him to say that, to tell his fellow man that. So he said he'll stop talking to him, and she said she stopped talking to him about it. Since 3 years, nothing has happened because, of course, nothing has been done. If he tries to use other means, he'll be doing it like he was forced, and then she loses interest, and she's been very, very worried about it. So she says, if she tries to express her displeasure, he'll tell her that marriage is for better for worse. It's not only for intimacy, so that they should just forget about intimacy and go ahead and raise their children. She says, is this a cross she has to bear for the rest of her marriage, or is there a way out? You're a man. What would you advise her to do?
I think she needs to get help.
From where? When the man is embarrassed to let anyone hear that situation.
I mean, look.
And remember, he won't eat her food again or talk to her if this happens.
Yeah, because as far as I know, and as far as I'm concerned, that marriage is pretty much over as it stands now. 3 years without what
consummation.
You call it, haba. No, I mean that's not fair to the woman, especially because he cannot get it up. If they are having irreconcilable differences, they are quarreling, and he's doing his own thing somewhere, and all that, it will be different. Because he can't do it.
And he's reluctant.
No. That's
because he feels so embarrassed.
Fair.
So I don't want to say he's egoistic. Because he feels that, how can I stand before my fellow man and tell him, excuse me, doctor, this I cannot come up. So he feels perhaps a bit embarrassed.
It's a medical situation now.
Naturally,
it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's medical.
Maybe people do not know that they shouldn't be embarrassed about medical situation.
Come on, it's a medical situation. So I think that she needs to get help. Somebody that can reach him, that can talk to him and connect with him and get him to understand that he needs to go and seek help. I don't know if they're church people, maybe somebody that he respects. Usually, pretty much everybody would have one or two people in their lives that they respect and that they would listen to, no matter what the issues are. So she needs to get help.
But taking you on the spot, if the reverse was the case and it's in your condition that your wife says, I'm uninterested in this for the past 3 years, what would you do?
You do the same thing.
You get help.
Yes, you find a way to convince your partner that we need to resolve this thing.
I like the way that I'm asking this question with my eyes shining.
I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work.
Lagos, you guys don't know nothing.
It's not going to work. Okay. She needs to get help because it's a marriage without that thing, consummation. Let's use that word because I know this is not late night. I'm not embarrassed to use all the words in their full glory, but this is not late night.
In their full glory.
So it's not a marriage.
All right, Lagos phone lines are open. Let's take your thoughts on this. What do you advise? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Pepe.
Sir, welcome, sir.
It's Kelechi again.
Kelechi, are you seeing what your fellow man is doing? Oh yeah, what do you advise him now to do? Why is this one laughing?
This one is not a normal thing. It's not ordinary.
You don't enter spiritual. Nigerians can like non-ordinary things.
Ordinary one. You need a powerful pastor so that we pray for him. It's not pastor even doctor cannot cure it.
Which kind of power can we use now? In the Boski Behose, which one should we release for him?
In the Boski Behose. It's not because this one. If the woman will try to confuse him, he will get angry and he will even leave his her food for almost 3 days. How many days? It's a spiritual thing. Maybe he used his this thing to do and that we don't. I don't know.
Nigerians. Oh yeah, come and be going. Thank you. It's enough. Hello, good evening. Please help me turn up the volume of your radio set.
Hello, Pepe.
Say.
This is Sunday Kechuku Enyinta.
Hey, you're welcome. Sunday Enyinta.
It's me.
It's true. Sunday Enyinta. Hey, how are you?
Very, very fine.
So this one that you called me inside my show, is this particular step down? Didn't you somehow?
This time that don't be here, I beg.
Nigerians, why is it that when the history is like this, just be laughing, giggling? Because it's okay. Go ahead.
No, now. In fact, the step down. In fact, don't ask. I go take put mouth.
Try put mouth from any corner.
Hey, the man, you no need to shame. Well, the thing never hold on. Well, if you hold on, well, we ain't go look for help.
Nothing they hold on now. Not be waiting. Not be hold on now. Nothing they hold. There's nothing to hold there.
Never hold on. If you hold on, well, seriously.
But you know if you hold on now. What's making the reluctance now? Now because you know if you hold on.
If you meet those nurses where we say they're wicked for hospital, the way they go use hand, they help you, they rub them. By that shame, no go there your face again. You need to go and look for help. That is the best thing.
All right. Thank you so much. Say Sunday. Hey. Okay. All right. So I take a few messages. Let the wife go. Let the wife go buy a toy. He can start using other means to get her help. And then this here says, good evening. Okay, I think I lost that already. Okay, let me just go back to this one line. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Prepper.
Sir, you're welcome.
Yeah. For that, our brother that is sick and he doesn't want to go to hospital.
Yes.
I mean, that is not right at all. That is not right. There are many people that has a bigger problem than what he has. That is nothing. He should not be ashamed. That is why we have doctors all over the place. He should go and take care of himself. That is nothing. Because if he continues like that, that marriage will not stand. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the way.
But remember that he's actually worried about his ego being bruised. If you hear what the wife said, that he says, how can he go and tell his fellow man that he cannot be man enough? This is like somebody telling you, if you be man enough, do this. And he's not man enough to do that.
That is, should I say, what type of mentality is that? What type of mentality is that?
African men are very egoistic. Like you guys have ego.
No. That is nonsense. Because is it because what about people that has HIV? They still go to hospital and they explain to doctor what they are going through, and they take drugs. And this one is something that is just normal. You go to hospital. That is why we have different type of doctor. We have brain doctors. We have gynecologists and all these things. Thank you so
much. I appreciate it. Let me let you go, sir. Thank you so much for calling.
It's all right. Thank you. Have a nice one.
You too. Thank you. Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, the Queen of Aha, Precious.
Hey.
The Queen of Aha.
I am not in here. Oh, yeah, go straight to the points.
Hey. That man, which kind of man is that?
I know.
That man, his own people from village, they overdo him.
So na spiritual matter true.
You shouldn't go to the whole spiritual matter too much. I'm not sure. Even the whole pastor, big pastors waiting for Nigeria, they never work. And they tell you truth. So actually, that's why you go carry woman where they can't carry and put for you. That is very big.
Network is disrupting your call. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Precious, good evening.
Good evening, welcome. For real, you're welcome. For real, sharp.
Yeah, I know. If I want to get to my turn, I'll do sharp. I don't hear. So the thing is that that thing is not spirituality. The man should be highly depressed. Depression causes that thing. So what I advise the woman to do is for the woman to go out by herself and go and investigate the cause of that thing. She can even get some.
But can she investigate in his absence?
No, she can investigate on her own and get the solution of it. She can even get some herbs. She can get herbs and put it in the man's food. The man will be eating. You won't bother the man again. If the man can be eating those herbs, then the man will get back himself without him knowing. So, but the man has to be relaxed. He shouldn't bother the man again about that because the man will be more depressed. So it will cause more problem. And for the meantime, the man should be using his hands. Figuring can help us for the
but she says that the way he even tries to do it, that he does it disgustingly, like she's forcing him, so he makes her lose interest.
there is a big solution. It's not any spiritual. You also don't want to do that.
All right, thank you so much for real. Thank you, I appreciate you. All right, Kenechiko from First I see your message. You call it work. I'm not reading it. Precious, we do okay. Precious, the man is ill-advised. What if the man has prostate issues? Will he also refuse medical attention? Precious, I just enter replay. I say I just enter, make a replay the step down. Radio need the rewind. You don't hear that thing before. Radio need the rewind. If that man is not determined by self to go find the solution to his problem, then I feel he is aware of why it is like that in the first place.
Good point.
You believe that too, right?
Good point. I mean, why would it be? Because I mean, come on, 3 years, nothing. And saying that his body doesn't get him, that's not true. He will have the desire. It's just that his body
cannot react.
So for 3 years, you have the urge once in a while, you want to do it, but nothing happens.
And he's telling her that let's just forget about that aspect of our lives. That means there must be something fishy. Because someone here just says, Anthony says, Precious, that man doesn't use he said there must be something not ordinary. That big man's problem. See, be like, say, don't use and do something. All right, so let me get your parting shot overall on all this conversation in less than 60 seconds.
Well, I mean, look, not the step down.
Not the step down. In the main matter is the step down our problem. Man shall not live by bread alone. This was just a distraction.
I think that my passing shot is that Nigerians should take more interest in what is going on. We have to understand that if we don't say something, if you see something, say something. If you don't say something when you see something, nothing will happen. So our politicians are going to keep going and going to keep doing the things that they're doing, and they're going to be happy unless we say no. So you can ask yourself, as you do in your house now, how can I say no? Because saying no comes in different ways. How can I say no to all these things? And then say your own. And eventually it would all build up, and one day, hopefully
please, you have social media. Are you on social media? And some Nigerians may want to follow you like their
Shegun Shokwitan.
Okay.
At Shegun Shokwitan. All social media.
Can you help them spell?
SEGUN. So Shegun is without a H. So it's SEGUN SOPITAN. Shegun Shokwitan on all social media. Okay. Instagram, Facebook,
Oh, by the way, I like how active you're on Twitter. Well done.
I try.
I wish I can be like that when I grow up.
Because I'm not that active.
I am so clumsy on social media.
There are people that post every day several times.
I think I post once in 3-4 months. I don't know. I need help. Lagos, thank you so much. That's the size of our conversation this evening. My name is Precious Enyi. Well, you see, my grandfather says, na the advice we person advice himself na be the best advice. So make it reach time we be say una Nigerians say go use una hand advice on self for inside the condition one a day, because nobody go fit advise you for your condition pass you where they feel the condition. Now dear, I go drop the cap this evening. My name is Precious. You can join me across the social media platforms on Instagram at Precious Enyi Official, Twitter Precious_Enyi, Facebook, I'm reluctantly Precious, and on YouTube where I'm most active is at Precious Enyi TV. Precious Enyi TV. I post things with almost all my guests once in a while on YouTube, so I'm sure you know that thing you dropped now, people. All right, so Precious Enyi TV on YouTube. Enyi is spelled ENYI. Yes, and you just put T and V. Precious Enyi TV on YouTube. By the way, Enyi means friend, and I love to be your friend till the end. Even with the gbasgbos you guys give me, I still love you guys. Protect your mental health. I love you. Good night.